Here's the news report as it's being put out. Some are claiming that Sandra Bland was on the ground when this mugshot was taken and was possibly dead. Okay? Much remains unknown in the death of Sandra Bland, the woman found hanged in her Texas jail cell after being arrested in what started as a routine traffic stop. Why was she arrested? Why was the police officer so hostile? Why was she held in jail for so long? How did she end up dead 3 days after her arrest? And I also understand that the footage of her arrest, of that traffic stop, was edited. Is that correct?
It was. That was on, and that was vetted by Ben Swann's team. By Ben Swann.
That came out of benswann.com.
Yep.
That it is a fact that video that was provided was actually edited.
Yes.
Okay. So that was edited. And do you have the picture of her secondary mugshot?
I do. If you want to look in, just the original YT in today's pics.
The original YT.
It just says YT only.
Okay.
You'll see it there. That's where I placed it.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'm going to pull this up while you guys are on the screen. Wait till you see this. Okay. Original pics.
Yeah, where we have YT 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but this one's just YT by itself.
Oh, it's in YT. Okay, stand by, ladies and gentlemen, because you need to see this picture. I wanted to show that to you out of the UK. All right, here is the photo right now that's out there that claims to be the original photo that was edited. Oh, sorry. There's a picture of her. It was just YT, and was that a screenshot? Oh, YT. There we go. Here it is. Look at this, you guys. This is supposedly the original photo, okay, as it's on the screen. The original photo. Here's what this girl looks like on the left-hand side, before and after photos, okay? The photo that you're seeing in the center of the screen is how the picture was originally taken, okay? So there's some abrasions on this girl's neck right here. And there are claims already. And this comes out of the Independent. This is not this isn't just somebody's Twitter feed. There's a lot of questions here. Are there anomalies? Absolutely. Are we going to jump to conclusion? No. This is what we're going to do. We're going to gather information. We have been very passionately mentioning Sandra Bland's story because it's so unnecessary. This never had to happen. Was she targeted? Were there mistakes that were made? Is there now a cover-up that is being done? Is there? What do you think? What's your gut feeling on this?
My gut feeling is that she was very much alive in that photo. But, and of course, there's going to be a lot of stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff going around. But, I mean, she looks definitely like she was in distress, But, I mean, just because she has, in this photo, there's muscle control in the face. You can see that still there's muscle control in the face. But, if it did come back that she was dead in this photo already and died, I would not be surprised. You know what I'm saying? But my gut, you're asking for my first gut reaction.
Yeah, what's your gut reaction?
I mean, that's my gut reaction.
Everyone has to express their opinion and see it. I don't have any facts. I'm just saying that right now.
Too, guys, a little bit. Can I add a little bit to it as well?
Sure. Yeah.
The place where they were holding her, where they took her, all of the pictures from mugshots, they've done comparisons, and they put them up against a wall, and the walls are white cinder block. They've painted, you can see the lines of the cinder blocks. She's on a gray slab, and if you look at the comparison pictures, her nose is turned upwards like someone's standing over her, and if you compare it to her other pictures, her nose actually dips down in the front at a front angle, and she actually, I don't think she has any kind of facial muscle control whatsoever. I mean, her hair is actually going backwards. If you look at her, she had dreadlocks, or whatever you would call them, but they're going backwards. Where in the rest of her pictures, they're like dangling down in her face.
Yeah.
So there's several different, things out there. We're not saying one or the other, but it does look kind of weird.
No, all we're doing is sharing, ladies and gentlemen. Right. And all you people that say, well, you need to be vetting. No, I say you send me a fucking check and I'll do all the vetting. I'll do it full time for you. Okay.
I think this is what happens though. When our government and local government, whatever, does not put out information, and definitely they're covering this girl's death up. I mean, there is no doubt about that.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
No
So
doubt.
people are already, so people are starting to come up with their own theories and their own, that's what's happening here. And this is what always happens. And it doesn't have to happen that way. They could come out and be honest, and they're not going to. But I'm telling you, that girl did not kill herself. They will never make me believe that.
Yeah.
They just won't.
Yeah. And you, that portion of our population, you disgusting white racist people that support the police state, even at the expense of everyone's constitutional rights. Okay. I want you to just pause, and shut your K-call, tune everything out. Don't pick it apart. Just watch the video. Watch that video of him pulling her over. And you ask yourself, no matter what took place, all right, how that thing started. This guy, because of his attitudes and character flaws, escalated it to the point to where a woman actually is now dead. The end result is that a woman is dead,
Right.
and then back all the way up to the original interaction where she just changed lanes without signaling.
Yeah.
And she's freaking dead.
Yeah.
She's dead. I don't even care if you hate black people. If you hate black people, does any human being deserve to die because they didn't use their traffic signal for a lane change? Any human being. Right?
Yeah. I really think this girl was a fighter. You could just tell she wasn't going to take any crap. And she got, she got herself into something that she was not going to get out
of the
alive.
car. And then I will light you up. Get out. Wow. Now. Wow. Get out of the car. For a failure to signal.
I will light you up, he said. That was dash cam video of 28-year-old Sandra Bland's arrest during a traffic stop on July 10th. 3 days after that traffic stop, Bland was dead in a Texas jail cell. But who's to blame for what happened? Sunny Hostin is here, CNN's legal analyst and a former federal prosecutor. Also, Harry Houck, who is a retired NYPD detective. Mark Lamont Hill, CNN political commentator. They all join us this evening. So I want to get everyone's reaction to this dash cam footage. Harry, you first.
Okay, I don't see anything wrong with the officer's actions until we get to the point where he asked her to take this, put the cigarette out, and then at that moment, when she says no, he asks her to get out of the car. Now it appears from the video that he did it because she would not put the cigarette out, but I'm not a mind reader, but that's what it appears to be. Officer does have the choice to bring anybody out of a vehicle when he stops them for his own safety and to write the summons outside of the vehicle. So the officer could have done that. The whole thing is that she was very arrogant from the beginning, very dismissive of the officer. All right, she was very
She said,
uncooperative.
I'm in my car. Why do I have to put out my cigarette?
Well, I'm not debating the cigarette issue.
Maybe he's allergic. Who knows?
There's a
I'm just
possibility,
wondering.
yes.
But go ahead.
Well, and I think that's the issue here. Who is the trained professional? When you get a badge and a gun, that gives you power. And with that power comes the responsibility, I think, to de-escalate a situation like that. And what we saw was an officer trying to exert power on her by asking her to put her cigarette out. Guess what, Don? I checked the penal code. There is no law against smoking a cigarette in your car. You can't arrest someone for doing that. So when he asked her to get out of the car, that was
not being
improper.
arrested for
That
the
was
cigarette,
inappropriate, and he failed to disclose it.
She was being arrested
is
for
the
her-
professional. He is the
She was
professional.
being arrested
and he
because a
lost his
summons
cool.
is in lieu of arrest. All right, and the fact that he can't ask her
He
to get out
wasn't
of the
giving
car.
her a summons, though.
All
He was
right?
giving her a warning.
We don't know that to the end.
But he knew
We
that.
don't know that to the end.
But he knew that.
We don't know that to the end. I'm sure he wrote her a summons.
Yeah. Mark,
After the
He
arrest,
wrote her
she
a
wrote her a
warning.
summons.
go ahead, Mark.
I found this video to be disturbing, disgusting, unsettling. Really on multiple levels. This woman simply was in her car and had the audacity to not be entirely deferential to the officer. She doesn't have to kiss the officers, but she has a right to be irritated. A lot of us get irritated when we get pulled over. This officer comes to her and says, is there something wrong? You seem like you have an attitude. He's trying to pick a fight with her. He essentially says, why are you upset? And when she says, look, this is why I'm ticked off. However, you still have a job to do. You're still going to give me the ticket. So just give me the ticket. You have a right to say that. Sometimes police officers act as if you're not completely kowtowing overpowering and deferential that somehow you're violating a law. He asked her to put out a cigarette. She very accurately pointed out that she didn't have to put out a cigarette. She's in her car. And at that point, he threatens to drag her out to, quote unquote, light her up. This type of violence is a reminder that state violence, number one, is exacted not just on men but on women, but particularly black women who have always been vulnerable in these spaces. But this is a perfect example of exactly how vulnerable black women are in public space to law enforcement. This did not have to happen. As Sonny said, this was entirely preventable.
Mark, even if
I have a right to have
even if he de-escalated the whole situation, she would have still kept on coming at that officer the way she did. She did not want to cooperate with that officer.
I have a right to, Harry.
Oh, I'm sorry. You've got to cooperate with the police officer, Mark. You have to.
She wasn't being uncooperative.
Yes, she was. She was being uncooperative. She goes, I don't have to show you my ID. Didn't you hear her? I don't have to show you my ID. I don't have to tell you who I am.
That's not what she said.
That's what she was saying. It's right in the video. She did.
No, listen, Harry, hold on, Harry. Harry, she said, I only have to show you my ID.
Yeah.
She said,
I don't have to tell you my name. I don't have to show you my ID. That's exactly what she said inside the car.
She said, I'm a little bit irritated. It doesn't stop you from giving me a ticket. So, and then he says, are you done? He said, you asked me if what was wrong. And then she goes on and talks to a cigarette. I don't see anything about an ID unless that happened earlier. Oh, I refuse to talk to other than I said, oh, here he goes. Says, do I have the right now to step out or I remove you? And she says, I refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
And that is actually correct.
That's the opposite of what Harry just said.
Okay, all right, Mark.
So Harry, that's the opposite of what you just said.
All right, I thought that's what you said. To talk. Okay, I'll give you that.
One thing I think it's important to note. I teach street law classes. I talk to my husband. I talk to my children. When you have a police encounter, you want to make that encounter as short and sweet as possible.
Exactly.
You do want to comply.
Yes.
You want to be as not combative at all. But in looking at that video, again, the officer is the professional in that situation. He baited her. He lost his cool. And I think
I don't think he baited her at all.
He baited her by asking her
she just
to
wanted
put
to be,
her
she just wanted to be uncooperative.
He baited her,
She had a problem with the officer.
Did.
She had a problem with being stopped. She didn't like the fact that she was being stopped. Her whole arrogant attitude, and that stopped. Now, the officer should not have pulled her out of the car.
Okay, but listen, hang on, listen. I want everybody to listen. Because I think, Mark, hang on, Mark, hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry,
hang
man.
on, no. I think that Mark.
This is what police do, man.
That's what I'm trying to get to that point, Mark.
This is not what police
because
do.
Harry has a point here. Whether Harry is wrong or right, when you're in that situation, not saying that listen, I'm not blaming her up for anything. This is for everyone who is watching. If you, as Sonny is saying, if you are being stopped by a police officer, whether that police officer is right or wrong, or as what's his name? Lindsey Graham says, a jackass. Don't you do what he says until afterwards. Then you can sue him. Then you're still alive. Then you're not beat up on the ground.
That is the smart thing to do. Clearly.
It doesn't mean the officer's right. I'm not saying the officer is right.
Everybody thinks it's okay to resist arrest.
So here, this is my question. My question is,
when she was in her car, Harry, she wasn't resisting
all of the
arrest.
attention, Sonny, that's being placed on these incidents around the country, do you think that is giving people a false sense of rights that they have that they really don't have?
She had every right to tell him that she...
There's a false sense.
Harry.
Let me finish. I promise everyone will get in.
I think even an article came out, and I don't want to say who wrote the article, but I'm not exactly sure right now. But the fact is, they even told people that, you don't have to show your ID to police officers. There are things and people are seeing things like that, and people actually think that I talked to saying that, no, if a police officer stops me for something, and I don't think he's stopping me for the right reason, that I don't have to cooperate with the officer.
Yeah.
But that is wrong. The law says, just like you said, Don, when a police officer stops you, do whatever he says and then deal with it later.
Okay, Mark, I just want the truth here, and I think that people should not be dying or getting beat up for some right that they think they have that they don't have. That's it. So go ahead.
I refuse to legitimize police violence against people by telling them that if they behave differently, maybe they won't die. Harry said maybe you won't end up on the ground. Yes, there are strategies we can use to survive, but the fact that we live in a world where we have to deploy strategies to not be murdered or killed or assaulted by police unlawfully is absurd. Harry is right. An officer does have the right to pull someone out of the car for their own safety. He didn't feel unsafe from that woman in that moment.
He sure did.
This was about
and
what Harry's calling arrogance, and what Harry is calling arrogance, I'm calling dignity. Black people have a right to assert their dignity in public, and just because it doesn't cohere with what police want doesn't mean they're being arrogant or dishonest.
Mark, listen, I got to go. But do you think that this was racial? Do you think that this was racial?
Yes, I do, and I think the sky is blue all
All
of
right.
it.
Let's go ahead, Harry. Do you
I'm
think
not
it was?
I'm
This isn't. There's no indication this is racial at all. None whatsoever.
Right.
But
This happens to white women all the time.
I don't think
I
we
know,
have-
but the whole thing,
I don't
Mark,
think
with
we
you
have
is every
enough
time a white
information,
officer
Mark,
stops
to
somebody
say
black
that.
and we talk about something, it's a racial issue.
Go ahead,
I don't
Sonny.
think we have enough information to call this a racial issue, but I think we have enough information to know that this officer overstepped his bounds. He was the professional in the situation, and he escalated this rather than de-escalated. I also think it's important to know that this is separate and apart from what happened in the jail cell,
jail.
and that we also need to talk about and investigate.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. Up next, Donald Trump